how bad was Tim Walz? Let's go and talk to Abby Phillips, Dana Bash, and Jake Tapper doing a post-debate breakdown on how bad was Tim Walz, cut number 31.
I think there was a clear lack of preparation and execution here on Walz's part.
I think actually it's the opposite. I think he had too much preparation.
Maybe, yeah.
He had so many lines that he was clearly trying to say that he didn't listen and said when J.D. Vance said one of the many things he really hit Kamala Harris on, not Tim Walz, but Kamala Harris, he didn't respond because he clearly had things in his mind. I think the lack of interviews that he has done with national media, with local media, it showed. He needed more reps.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, J.D. Vance is much more experienced at this, at public speaking, at defending himself, at pivoting.
It's not because J.D. Vance has been in the Senate for 2 years. It's because Tim Walz is kind of a buffoon and doesn't know anything, and we know that, and you know that, and boy, did it come out in the... Remember, this occurs hours after Iran launched 180 ballistic missiles at Iran. Luckily, Iran's Iron Dome and the assistance of U.S. destroyers in the region prevented great loss of life. One Palestinian man was killed, and 2 other Israelis were injured. And there will be a massive response from Israel somewhere, and it should have dominated the entire debate, along with China. China, apparently, Xi Jinping, its general secretary of the Chinese Communist Party, is apparently Voldemort and cannot be named by any of the networks because they all have business ties. Not one question on China. They're threatening Taiwan. They're threatening the Philippines. They have the most massive military buildup in the world. And the ABC debate and the CBS debate did not have one question about China's malign intentions on the world stage. They didn't bring up Russia and Ukraine. They didn't bring up anything but except the first exchange because of the day's news. They had to shoehorn in something about Iran and Israel. So they did, and Tim Walz gives this answer, cut number 2, to start the debate.
Governor Walz, if you were the final voice in the Situation Room, would you support or oppose a preemptive strike by Israel on Iran? You have 2 minutes.
Well, thank you. And thank you for those joining at home tonight. Let's keep in mind where this started. October 7th, Hamas terrorists massacred over 1,400 Israelis and took prisoners. Israel's ability to be able to defend itself is absolutely fundamental. Getting its hostages back, fundamental, and ending the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. But the expansion of Israel and its proxies is an absolute fundamental necessity for the United States to have the steady leadership there. You saw it experienced today, where along with our Israeli partners and our coalition, able to stop the incoming attack. But what's fundamental here is that steady leadership is going to matter. It's clear, and the world saw it on that debate stage a few weeks ago. A nearly 80-year-old Donald Trump talking about crowd sizes is not what we need in this moment. But it's not just that. It's those that were closest to Donald Trump that understand how dangerous he is when the world is this dangerous. His chief of staff, John Kelly, said that he was the most flawed human being he'd ever met. And both of his secretaries of defense and his national security advisors said he should be nowhere near the White House. Now, the person closest to them, Donald Trump, said he's unfit for the highest office. That was Senator Vance. What we've seen out of Vice President Harris is we've seen steady leadership. We've seen a calmness that is able to draw on the coalitions to bring them together. Understanding that our allies matter. When our allies see Donald Trump turn towards Vladimir Putin, turn towards North Korea, when we start to see that type of fickleness around holding the coalitions together, we will stay committed. And as the vice president said today we will protect our forces and our allied forces, and there will be consequences.
All right, so everyone watching immediately knows he doesn't have any idea what to say. He's got some lines prepared that he wants to get out about Donald Trump. He does not answer the question. He mixes up the terms. He has no clue.